What's up, guys, and welcome to Let Me Clear My Throat Fantasy Football Edition. This will be the first, or really, I guess you can maybe say the second fantasy football discussion topic that I've put out. The first one having to deal with strategies and players that I'm looking at. Just recently, I I drafted in two drafts through Yahoo. There were 10 team. It was a 10 team draft, and I had signed up for to do just one public draft, just with just random people, which is always fun, cool. But coincidentally, I ended up in two drafts that apparently that I signed up for. So while I'm live drafting on one, I'm auto pick draft in another that I wasn't even aware of. And then also this week, I am in the draft with a couple of former colleagues of mine I used to work with, drafting with a good friend of mine, Justin Miller, and and a couple of my uh, couple of friends, people I know within that group that will be drafting on Saturday. I'm contemplating whether to go live during that fantasy football draft. But just want to go into detail with the players that were selected in my auto pick and the ones that I did pick in my live, and then also the draft order, because I know in any fantasy football draft there's a lot of strategy that's put into it. And so um, a lot of people questioning, like, what order should I go? Wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. How exactly should I draft? So I'm gonna just go ahead and share the players that I have for both fantasy football teams, where I was selected in both of those drafts, and I also am going to go ahead and, in the effort to be consistent, because I have been doing previews of the NFC and the NFC division. I'm gonna do just a brief synopsis or summary of the AFC as well. I'm gonna go ahead and just briefly touch on the AFC North, the AFC South, and the AFC West. And I still may go back and do full detail with guests and bring them on in the podcast. But I'm just going to touch on them. I've already done a AFC East division breakdown summary. You can check that out in my videos on my channel. Again, subscribe. Let me clear my throat. Subscribe, like, comment. I'd love to hear your input. Find me on Facebook under Mike. Um, Dialogue is key to creation, content creation, and so um, I love to go back and forth and talk and converse and talk sports. So with the first fantasy football draft that I had, I'll start with the one that I was auto picking that I was not aware of. The Yahoo, after each draft, Yahoo gives a grade for the draft. In this draft, I got an A plus. Mind you, they were auto picking, which is best available. This was a 10 team draft, and I drafted in the two spot. So if you're going into a draft and you have some anxiety on what order you should go in as far as position goes, in a very deep draft, wide receiver wise, and somewhat of a deep draft, running back wise, but still you want to different find the difference between the timeshare um, running back by committee teams and players that are going to be the number one guy, three down backs. Hopefully, this podcast uh, gives you some clarity. Maybe there are several channels and avenues that you can go to and resources where you can um, get an idea of where you want to draft, how you want to draft by position, breakdown of players, things of that nature. There are plenty of them, plenty of opinions, that is, on X or Twitter. And of course, if you watch ESPN like I do, NFL Live, fantasy football um, on NFL Network. So there are plenty of resources to figure out what draft order by position and breakdown of players. But this is the one draft that was auto picked, and this is my team. In the first round, I got Jamar Chase. Second round, Devon Akan from Miami. Third round, running back Bucky Irving. Fourth round, Kenneth Walker from Seattle. So the first four rounds in this auto pick was wide receiver and then three running backs that were best available in a 10 team league. And I want to emphasize 10 team because I normally play in a 12 team. You may normally play in a 12 team, or at least that's the norm for me. Um, I've never really played in a 14 or 16 team league, but that was the order. In the fifth round, I got Terry McLaurin, wide receiver, Washington Commanders. I got TJ Hawkinson, tight end. Patrick Mahomes in the seventh round. I got Tyrone Tracy from New York. Caleb Johnson from Pittsburgh in the ninth round. In the 10th round, I got Juwan Jennings. Kyler Murray in the 11th round. Jonnu Smith, tight end, in the 12th round. He's more of a backup to Frierson. Matthew Golden, wide receiver from uh, Green Bay. He's a rookie wide receiver. In the 14th round, defense with the Buffalo Bills. And in the 15th round was a kicker, which was Fairbury. So when I found out that I had this group or stash of players, I immediately dropped Tyrone Tracy, Caleb Johnson, and Jonnu Smith. I'm gonna tell you why. I was surprised, one, and I'm happy with the first seven picks. I thought that this was a good start with the first seven. I think Cam Scottaboo is going to overtake the running back position in New York with the Giants, and I think Tyrone Tracy's going to. It's more like a running back by committee, but I think Scottaboo is going to be the main guy, and he's going to score more points. Caleb Johnson splitting with Warren, the backfield, the running back position with Warren in Pittsburgh. Some suspect that he will be the number one guy towards the end of the season. I'll pass. And probably stash him for later. I have Juwan Jennings, but he's injured. and he may be put on IR. So I was thinking about dropping him as well. Surprised that I was able to get Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes on the same team. Kyler Murray is a dynamic player. Uh, if you catch my podcast talking about the NFC West, we talked about him a great deal on that podcast. And but he's a dangerous player. I've had him before, and he's good running and throwing the football. We'll see how he does if he's able to get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. John Newsmith, as I said before, he's more of a pass. He's more of a receiving tight end, which is Aaron Rodgers is used to having. I just don't think he'll have the volume and be on the field enough to really play him and start him. And I'm all about playing starters, people that will actually produce for you instead of just having a random person on the team that's not doing much of anything. I like Matthew Golden. I think he could be the number one guy in Green Bay, but I think that wide receiver room is more of a timeshare thing because you got Reed, you got Wicks, you got Watson. It's going to be it's crowded, but I think Matthew Golden can separate himself. And then there's always been injuries associated within that wide receiver group also, so he could turn out to be the healthiest guy some games and be the main target for Jordan Love. So I'm cool with that team. I actually like that team. Now my other team that I live draft that I myself selected and picked. Um, and I drafted in the sixth spot in the 10-team league again. From the sixth spot, my first pick was C.D. Lamb. My second pick was Christian McCaffrey. My third pick was Lamar Jackson. My fourth pick was Kenneth Walker. My fifth pick was T. McMillan, wide receiver from Carolina. My sixth pick was Devontae Adams. My seventh pick was Rome Adunze. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. From Chicago. Um, at tight end, I picked Tyler Warren with the eighth pick. I picked Ja'Cory Merritt, running back for Washington Commanders. He's expected to see his play increase with the trade of Robinson. I think Ja'Cory's going to have a good year. Might have a split time share with, I believe his last name is Rodriguez in the backfield in Washington, but I think Ja'Cory Merritt can be that guy. I also drafted Cam Scatterboo, Dalton Kincaid as my tight end with pick 11. I drafted Detroit for my defense in the 12th round. Drafted Nick Chubb as my running back. And I don't understand why Nick Chubb is being kind of disregarded, almost disrespected for. I mean, he was a good running back in Cleveland. I don't understand why a lot of people are doubting his ability now. So, but I drafted him in the 13th round. And then, interesting enough, in the 14th round, again in the 10-team league, CJ Stroud, which is kind of a surprise to see that he's there as kind of like listed as a backup, but or just really just not even considered top 10 in I guess in some people's eyes. But I selected him, C.J. Stroud, 14th round, and then Harrison Buckner from Kansas City. Yahoo gave me a C minus grade for that for this lineup of players. So I have C.D. Lamb, McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker. Yeah. Then T. McMillan, Devontae Adams, Rome Odunze, Tyler Warren as my tight end, which Tyler Warren is considered more so a sleeper, but a lot of people are high on him, especially with Daniel Jones being the quarterback. And I guess you could say with my strategy if wide receiver, running back, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, wide receiver, tight end. I could have picked a tight end maybe in the sixth round, um, depending on who's available. I doubt Bowers would make it that far to the sixth round or McBride, but I'm pretty happy with where I got Tyler Warren in the eighth round. Yahoo said that I reached. I don't think I reached that much. I think Tyler Warren's going to be a breakout and may surprise people. And I mean, Dalton Kincaid as a backup isn't that bad. I like to draft players that if I know I'm going up against Josh Allen, I can at least plug in one of his guys, one of his targets in my lineup, whoever I'm going up against, and to because I know Josh Allen's probably going to ball out that game. Might as well throw in a player that he's going to throw the ball to in my lineup to somewhat make it fair. But that is my two. Those are my two fantasy football teams that I've got, and we'll see how it goes. On Saturday, I drafted a 12-team league. Looking forward to that. Don't know where I'm drafting, what position I'm drafting, but I have a pretty good snapshot or idea of how I want to draft as far as order by position. Um, this is a very wide receiver heavy draft. So getting the best available player in your first two rounds is crucial. And then you just get a feel for how everyone is drafting and just pick who you like. The important thing is just to have fun and enjoy, watching the games. Any given Sunday, anybody can go off. And so I'm looking forward to this fantasy football season, especially with the one that was auto pick. I'm curious. I mean, to get Jamar Chase, wow, who would have thought? Um, Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker. I got Kenneth Walker in both uh, in both both of my team, both leagues, I guess you could say, in both teams. And I got Lamar Jackson who can run and throw, and Christian McCaffrey. I'm excited about my teams, both of them so far, and so we'll see how Saturday goes. Now, in fairness to the NFC, I've been posting previews of the NFC division. I'm just going to briefly go over the AFC North, AFC South, and the AFC West. And I've already done a podcast on the AFC East that you can check out on my YouTube channel. So, briefly, with the AFC North, for the North, I have Baltimore winning the North. I have Pittsburgh and Cincinnati kind of 1 and 2, or two, or kind of gets tied in a sense for that second spot. Two, they can go tit for tat, and then Cleveland being at the bottom. I think it's Baltimore's to lose. Lamar Jackson, MVP. I think he's going to have another great year. Pittsburgh, you got Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. That'll be interesting to see if their chemistry I mean, this is pretty much a make or break year for Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin, to me, in my opinion. So I think Mike Tomlin, he's on the hot seat. Will he be fired? I'd be surprised. But based on his record, it's kind of to be expected in a way. He hasn't had much success. Uh, really hadn't done much in the playoffs. He's only just finished above 500, and that's really all you can really say about his coaching coaching tenure in the last couple of years. Be interested to see how Cincinnati comes out. Are they going to start slow or are they going to come out fast? I think Joe Burrow could be the MVP this year, possibly, if their record holds up. And I think he'll have no problem putting up numbers. Cleveland, they can't even get their quarterback room together. I thought the whole Shadur uh, pick and it's starting to look more like a publicity stunt than them actually giving him a chance. I really hope that Shadur gets a chance somewhere else. I think they should just go ahead, trade him. I think the Saints made a big mistake passing up on him, and they're going to be regretting that throughout the season. Saints should have been the one to pick Shadur. Pittsburgh could have picked Shadur Sanders, but instead, Cleveland, even with Watson, even with adding Flacco, even with drafting Gabriel, they picked Shadur. That being said, I think Shadur has shown a lot of maturity uh, this preseason. So hopefully he gets a chance somewhere else. But that's my short summary of the in the AFC North. Again, I have Baltimore winning, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati kind of fighting for that 2-3 spot, and then Cleveland fourth, dead fourth. In the AFC South, Tennessee, Indiana, Houston, Jacksonville. Um, in the AFC South, I have Houston winning, hands down, no question about it. I think they're the only team that's going to come out of this division with a winning record. Uh, I think Tennessee will compete. I'll take that back. Maybe Tennessee uh, with a winning record, but I'm not. I'm not sure if they make the playoffs or not. We'll see. That's a tough one. Houston, hands down, I think they got it. They're just the best team within that small division, the AFC South. I do want to say this about Travis Hunter. Ryan Clark made headlines by saying that Travis Hunter could be a bust. And I tend to agree. I think Travis Hunter, honestly, should decide which position he wants to play. Corner it's got to be either cornerback or wide receiver. I would like to see him play a corner. I would like to see him on defense. The Jacksonville Jaguars have to find a way to stop somebody if they're going to win games. And I think Travis Hunter could easily be their best defensive player. You got Brian Thomas at wide receiver already. Maybe you sprinkle Travis Hunter in there, but I just think that, Travis Hunter is an injury away from being an absolute bust. Because if he gets hurt, especially on the offensive side of the ball, you know, what I'm not going to say what good is he, but how do you use him going forward? So I think Travis Hunter should stick to defense. I think teams are going to be hunting for him and going to try to knock him out. And hopefully he can play a full season without dealing with the injury. I think Cam Ward will win Rookie of the Year. He's shown a lot of patience, poise in the pocket, confidence, command. I mean, this guy is a certified leader of the Tennessee Titans, and I think he's going to have a good year. I just don't trust their defense. Uh, what's that guy? I was watching First Take or Get Up. Mike Tannenbaum suggested that the Tennessee Titans were going to win the division. I'm sorry, but I disagree. I think offensively they'll be okay, but I just don't trust their defense. So although I do think they'll be second in the division, I don't I don't think the Tennessee Titans are that good of a football team to really compete in the AFC or make the playoffs. Indiana with Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, um, between them two, the quarterback battle, Daniel Jones winning out. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go going forward. Are they gonna stick with Richardson or are they just gonna stay with Daniel Jones? I think all of it really is going to be dictated on. It's going to be dictated on wins and losses, but really it's going to come down to Jonathan Taylor and his ability to run the football. So if Jonathan Taylor has a great year, then more than likely Daniel Jones should have a good year, and he keeps his job. Right now, everybody in Indiana, in the Colts organization, their job is on the line, as far as I see. But that's just my brief summary of the AFC South. And all right, the AFC West. AFC West, I think this is a fun division. Las Vegas, I have them last. I'll just go ahead and get that out the way. Patrick Mahomes, certified Hall of Famer. This is probably the deepest weapon wise that of a team that he has going into the season, coming off of a blowout loss in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to have revenge on their minds, but I think they're going to come up short in the playoffs. And this could potentially be Kelsey's last year and Andy Reid's last year. So is this a retool year? Is this a rebuild year? The future for Kansas City is somewhat in the air, but as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance to win games because we've seen them do more with less. And so I guess we can call this season the last ride potentially for Kansas City and their organization. But again, as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, they have a chance to win. They have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. But I also think teams have figured them out on how to close out games against the Kansas City Chiefs. I also like Denver a lot defensively and offensively. They are my Super Bowl pick. And I think Bo Nix, I think he'll have a great year. I don't think he'll have a sophomore slump. He was right there with Jaden Daniels. So I think he'll continue to grow and develop. And I think Sean Payton's got a good team on his hands and a good defense as well. The Chargers, I think they're going to run the ball a ton. Justin Herbert, it seemed like before it was who do you want to build your team on around? and Justin Herbert's name constantly came up. Ever since Harbaugh came in as the coach, there seems to be less pressure on Herbert, and the Chargers have taken on more of a team concept as opposed to having a superstar or a cluster of just weapons all over the place. I think they're more game plan or gameplay discipline. They're going to run the ball a lot, and they're just going to spread the ball around. And as long as Herbert is healthy, they're gonna be okay. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of pressure on Herbert, although typically there would be. I mean, there was a time where Herbert, Burrow, and Mahomes were in the same, and Lamar Jackson and uh, uh, Allen were in the same conversation, um, as far as who do you want to build your team around. And so Herbert is no longer in that conversation. Now he's just expected to manage the team, manage the game with this gameplay, and pretty much just follow instructions. Another unique, um, another unique thing about this division is just the Super Bowl experience. Andy Reid, Harbaugh, Carroll, Breeze, not Breeze, Sean Payton, all Super Bowl winners or have been to the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of winning in this division. I think this division could possibly put 3 teams in. So be looking out for that. And then in the AFC East, which I've already did a preview on, I picked Buffalo to come out of that division. And Josh Allen again. I think he could win MVP back to back, but we'll see because I think Joe Burrow might be that guy this year to take the MVP uh, crown. But the AFC and the NFC, this NFL season, it's going to be fun to watch. There's storylines each week. Each week there's a matchup that you have to see. There's more than one matchup that you have to see. All the primetime games are going to be fun. Fantasy football, as we announced in our NFC West talk with Greg with GR Productions. We'll be talking a lot of fantasy football, just breaking down tendencies by coaches, uh, PPR rankings and points and uh, who to play, who not to play, who to bench, who to pick up off the waiver wire. Looking forward to that this upcoming season. So that will end it for me uh, with Let Me Clear My Throat on the fantasy football side with my teams. Again, on my live draft, I got CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker, T. McMillan, Devontae Adams, Roma Dunze, Tyler Warren, Ja'Cory Merritt, Cam Scatterboo, Dalton Kincaid, Detroit defense, Nick Chubb, C.J. Stroud, Harrison Buckner on one team. On another team, I got Jamar Chase, Devon Achane, Bucky Irving, Kenny Walker, Terry McLaurin, T.J. Hawkinson, Patrick Mahomes, Tyrone Tracy, Caleb Johnson, Jawan Jennings, Kyler Murray, Johnny Smith, Matthew Golden, Buffalo defense, and Fairburn from Houston, the kicker. So those are my 2 fantasy football teams. And Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. What you like. What you don't like. What are you looking forward to the most this NFL season? Like, comment, subscribe to my podcast. Let me clear my throat. You can also find me on Facebook. Look forward to watching some NFL and some college football starting tonight with Boise State in South Florida, and then just a whole bunch of highly ranked opponents and games on Saturday afternoon, all day on Saturday. Uh, so, got a lot of fun to a lot of things to be excited about football wise. All right, that is it. That's all I have. Peace out. Enjoy the weather if you're in Memphis. The fair. Be safe out there. Uh, take your time. Peace out. Have a good day.